Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Jeffrey Wright joining us as well to begin the program. A program brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Daiquiris, lunch specials, ribs this morning and all day long. Ribs, wet or dry, call ahead, be ready to go, or just show up and they'll wrap them up and get them to you. Also, great gas prices courtesy of the Speed Pass Plus app, the mobile rewards program, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call it. Ask for my friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. That's all you got to do. Make the call, get a quote. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, hop into a Clark Ford. You love the product. You love the service after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove it to you when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest will join us, including one Mr. Jeffrey Wright in a moment, on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Be a great place to hang out this weekend, whether you're watching college baseball, you're watching college basketball, Ole Miss and Mississippi State in Starkville at 5:30 on Saturday. It'll be on all the screens. Great food, great drink specials as well. And then on Sunday, of course, it's Bluegrass Brunch at 10:45 a.m. Bluegrass Brunch, chicken and waffles, more mimosas, Bloody Marys, everything you could want. They'll have it there. Make it part of your weekend at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford.
Jeffrey, how are you? You a big gumbo at brunch person? Okay. Really? More chicken and sausage and seafood for you, typically, for a gumbo?
That's exactly it. If I'm in New Orleans or Mobile or something where I know that the seafood is fresh, I'm all in. But if I'm in a landlocked area like Oxford, you're going to have to convince me that that didn't come out of a frozen bag.
Yes, I think that's a fair point. Because like when I think about the seafood gumbos that I like, it's all, somewhere cool is how often do I see a FedEx truck in front of their establishment? Because if it's often, then I know that they could be overnighting it in. If not, then
so it's like FedEx versus Cisco ratio.
Yeah, that's a fair way. U.S. Foods. Yeah, if it's a solid 1-to-1 ratio, then I feel good.
Okay,
gets back into the conversation we've had before. I mean, you know that they have to use food services, restaurants do, but you generally know what you're getting. I mean, if you go to Chili's, you know what you're getting at Chili's. I'm cool with that. The only thing I'm not cool with is when people try to advertise themselves as this authentic deal, and then you find out that not just a bunch of frozen ravioli from the Costco.
Yeah, like when Corona scared.
Neal is actually kind of worked up compared to most other ones that have come through over the last decade or so.
Not really worked up, aware of it. I'm starting to think that because of the culture that we live in today, that we are going to see – I'm really starting to think there's a chance that we see massive shutdowns of things that are going to surprise us. Schools closing, stadiums not being open to public. I think that's where this thing seems to be headed.
So you're changing your mind because I asked you yesterday or the day before, in 6 weeks, do I think there will be spectatorless sporting events in the United States? Now you're thinking yes.
I watched Los Angeles, which has what, 5 million people?
Sure.
They have 9 cases.
Sure.
And the city is a state of emergency. More people get murdered on the South Side in a night than that, right? I mean, what are we talking about? It just
murdered in LA in a night. I mean, I guess my question is, do you this is where it falls for me. Is the panic caused by the fact that we don't really have a great understanding of what this is, and because to me it seems like the best explanation is it's the mega flu. Okay, but then at first, okay, well, this is only, it's only really killing people with, that are frail and elderly, that have weak immune systems,
lungs compromised.
Correct. And then it seems like we have cases where like, no, this person was just like perfectly fine and couldn't beat it. And I'm curious, do you think that the shutdowns are the result of people don't know A, like the strength of it, B, like we obviously know it's contagious, but we don't know like how, like I wonder if it's the unknown that it's causing so much panic, or is this the classic example of this is like the ultimate 2020 thing in that this is clearly an issue, but it's not nearly the issue that the outrage and uproar and news coverage is giving it, and therefore we're overreacting? Because I'm not pushing one way or the other. This is something that I've weighed.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Caroline left this morning. She's flying to Orlando, and she was getting the speech about use hand sanitizer, and she said, that doesn't work against the coronavirus, right? I mean, it doesn't kill it. She's like, I don't want to be carrying wipes around everywhere I go. I don't know.
Well, like the same thing when people are like, okay, well, the NBA players fist bump instead of giving high fives. I'm sitting there going, I know Howie Mandel's a germaphobe and he does the fist bump thing, but it seems to me like skin to skin contact is the same. Like to me, it's like I don't understand how a fist bump's that much better than the high five. Like
there's sweat.
I don't know.
That was mostly
literally flying through the air.
That was mostly what Ole Miss did with Southern a few weeks ago when half of Southern's teams had the flu. I would have just skipped the handshake line entirely and said, "Hey, we appreciate you. Get on the bus."
Do the Greg Popovich where you don't even go and shake hands. You just turn to the other dugout, wave, tip your cap, and then go to your dugout and clubhouse.
Yeah, there was no reason to do that line that day. I was a little shocked by that.
You know what I mean? Like I am all for some of the like Damian Lillard or I'm sorry, CJ McCollum said he's not going to sign autographs anymore.
Saw that. He's
in the Pacific Northwest. Like does anyone think that's an unreasonable thing to do? Like I am totally fine with taking reasonable precautions.
The bigger thing is so here's the bigger question, right? So let's take the Portland Trailblazers as an example, since that's who CJ McCollum plays for. If you're CJ McCollum, are you at more risk being in an arena with 21,000 people, or are you at more risk holding pins and signing shirts?
See, that was the same question. That's what I asked. Like, in the end, like this can travel through air particles based on my understanding of viruses and infection. Like
they say,
travel.
The easiest way to get it is it lands on surfaces. It can live on a surface for 2 to 3 weeks. Your hands touch that surface, or your phone touches that surface. Your hands touch your phone. Your hands go to your mouth, your nose, your eyes, and boom, you've been exposed to it.
Yeah, it's honestly like one of the tips that I saw that I thought made the most sense was, hey, you need to regularly clean the surface of your cell phone. I was like, oh,
I did mine today.
That makes sense because A, that's a flat surface. B, I'm on it all the time, touching it all. Like to me, if coronavirus can attach itself to cell phones, I am doomed.
Well, they're saying that 40 to 70% of the population of the globe is going to, quote, get the coronavirus, but not everybody will be symptomatic. Not everybody will be impacted by it. Some people's immune systems will just filter it through.
There are some stereotypes that are there for a reason. Everybody has kind of freaked out or been more aware of it, and then basically yesterday Augusta National just said, "Hey, we're going to play the tournament. That's what's going to happen. No big deal." They put like all these links on their website to how to find everything, and then their quote was simply, "We're proceeding as scheduled for everything."
Well, in fairness, Augusta National might have like body scanners that you'll walk through that they'll like make you think are somehow that they're like a metal detector, but in reality they're body scanners. And then once they find out that you go through, you have coronavirus, they just have a sniper up there to take you out. Like, okay, problem solved, moving on.
And it's easy to say that today. 3 weeks from now, they might be singing a different tune. Who knows? I mean, that's the whole thing.
I guess like in LA's the reason why the fact that you bring up LA is a perfect example of what I'm saying with I can't what I can't figure out is what is like. I don't feel like we have an objective understanding of what the threat level is, and the fact that LA is the first, LA's having this massive shutdowns, like that's perfect because that's what LA would do. Like LA just panics and they overreact to every social media. And it's like, but at the same time, it's LA, and it is. You have tons and tons of people. You have tourism. You have people flying in and out, and so I completely do understand if this is a legitimate threat, wanting to take precaution. But do you see why I'm struggling with this in terms of
Sure.
Okay, what is determining what is the actual threat?
It's like I'm going to Nashville next week, going into an arena where the night that I'll be there might be 5,000 people in it, but still, I mean, is that unwise? I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. That's the people who are panicked. I'm like, I don't get it. And then the people who act like, oh, this is absolutely nothing. The World Health Organization says differently. So it's like everything else, I guess. It's somewhere in the middle, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I have no idea. I will say,
what's going to be around longer, the coronavirus or Penny Hardaway as Memphis's coach?
I'm gonna say Penny, because I do think it does seem like they're close. Like we are putting this is the good thing about when you have like a worldwide pandemic, is that you are assembling the best minds in medicine and research. And it does feel, like this has obviously been moved to the front of the caseload. So I believe in smart people. So I think they're going to at least figure something out. The problem with Penny Hardaway is this is uncharted territory in terms of how this will be decided. My experience and almost every other experience dealing with an NCAA case is before, it's the process of the Committee of Infractions, which God knows, we know that process can drag on and drag on and drag on. There's no real timeline for this. The best that I can understand from conversations is when it actually gets to the presenting of essentially the courtroom moment that Neal covered over in Covington.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, like what happens is both sides say, okay, well, here's I don't know how this is going to play out.
I do.
Also, I think I'm sorry. I do not know when this will play out.
Fair
Excuse
enough.
me. I should.
Yeah.
I misspoke there. I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
To me, there's two things that I found interesting in conversations and research on this whole process. Get ready, y'all. Hiring outside counsel. You can use them as strategy and whatnot. They will not be in that room with you.
There's no doubt, and I think we talked about it in November when they did it, there is no doubt that the way that they double-fingered the NCAA that night when I think they were playing like Illinois State or Chicago Wesleyan or somebody.
The jerseys or the shirts or whatever?
Well, not even that. But the night that they said, you know what, Wiseman is going to go get it.
It was Illinois Chicago. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, he's going to go get an injunction and he's going to play, damn it. That was so stupid. It's one thing to...
Okay, see if you agree with me on this. Does this make me a hypocrite? In real time, when they did this injunction thing, and I was the first person that said, are you out of your mind? Like, people used to do this all the time in the 70s and the 80s, and then their programs got hammered more so because of this. There's a reason why, like, this... They didn't reinvent the wheel of getting the injunction and saying, well, the court said we had to play him, so we played him. Like, that doesn't hold up. With that being said, once you made the decision to play him, I think one of the dumbest things they did was deciding, okay, well, basically like what they did is like they had like the adrenaline rush and they kind of had like the mob mentality. Everyone's like cheering him. and then they had a sobering moment like the next day, like, our bad. Like, can we just like do a do-over and then, everything's cool? I just think once you made the decision to play the ineligible player, like, your fate's sealed. Just go ahead and keep playing him.
That was the part I didn't understand. Why not? You did it. It was everybody there had gotten so excited about Penny Hardaway, as you well know. Penny Hardaway and Memphis basketball and the momentum and all the recruiting and I don't want to get you in trouble, so it's me talking, not you. Some of the people at your station interviewing everybody related to every one of these recruits, and I know it drove ratings, and I knew it. But the thing is that it created this fervor that when there was this moment of sobriety, when the NCAA said, hey, he's not eligible until we get this thing cleared up. We recommend that you not play him. Instead of them saying, hey, you know what, we're going to win this game anyway. Let's take a step back. Let's get this thing cleared up. We thought we had it cleared up. They have new information. Let's follow this thing through. It's going to be frustrating, and the fans are going to get upset, and they're going to yell and scream, but this is the prudent thing to do. Instead, from the top levels down, and this is why I think they're going to get hammered. I think if you could blame this on some assistant coach or even some assistant compliance person, I think they'd have a chance to say, hey, we kind of screwed up. We're sorry. The fact that this was the president, the AD, the head coach. You and I talked about this yesterday a little bit. Penny Hardaway really kind of pulled a Hugh Freeze in a lot of ways. He said, He said, hey, this is a new day. We're gonna go elephant hunting. I'm not getting the words right, but it doesn't matter. You all understand my point. And then when when there was pushback with Freeze, there was pushback from other programs. With Penny, there was pushback from other programs. Freeze said, hey, if you got something to say, send it to compliance. Penny said, I want all the smoke. It's all the exact same thing. It's literally the same playbook. And it is precisely the way not to handle it. And as with Freeze, did they find everything they were looking for? Nope. Against Ole Miss, nope, they didn't find everything they thought they had. I think they thought they'd have this treasure trove, but they got enough. Found a booster, found a stepfather, found whatever, found a paper trail. And with Penny, they've got – look, does the NCAA believe that all he gave them was $12,500? Nope. The NCAA thinks that Penny bought the house. The NCAA thinks that Penny's been paying the family. The NCAA thinks Penny's been paying all these recruits. Can they prove all of that? Probably not. Do they have enough to absolutely drop a sledgehammer on them? Yep, and they're going to.
Yeah, and I would also add the other thing, in my opinion, that is similar with Freeze is that because when Freeze got there and, he did a great job in 2012 getting that team, to 7 wins. And they stayed healthy, but, they played hard and they won more than they were expected to win. And then you get with the recruiting hoopla and everything. And so the adults in the room lost all leverage and they got caught up in God, we're making money. Like, we're Suns' best player to play. He didn't have the experience like Freeze to understand, all right, yeah, this is, I think this is BS, but you know what? This is the system, so we got to play by the rules. Let's try to get this done and over with as quickly as possible and get back and get him on the floor. Instead, it was defiance and how dare you, and I'm sticking up for the little man, like you're just coming after us because we're Memphis or we're Ole Miss. And it was a rallying cry. But part of the reason why the big boys don't get caught is it's not this systematic protection by the NCAA. It is the big boys know how when these things develop. A, they don't leave paper trails. That's a big one. And then B, when these types of issues arise, they know how to deal with them, and it's not defiance, and it's not F you, come get me.
Couldn't agree more.
I'm kind of curious here. I'm just kind of switching off this for a second because I'm reading the message board and Twitter and whatnot. We haven't really talked about this.
Well, healthy place, a healthy community of conversation.
Yeah, healthy everywhere. I'm just I'm trying to get a lot of knowledge this morning. This
Good
Tuberville Sessions runoff has a chance from a Senate standpoint to be one of the more fun things that we've dealt with a little bit because you got Trump going after Sessions. Doesn't necessarily endorse Tuberville, but does everything but by negating the opponent. They're both trying to see how conservative they can get in this state. It's become a little bit of an Alabama-Auburn thing with some guys. I mean, there's a lot here from a Senate primary runoff deal. Look, the winner's going to win. They're going to beat the incumbent in November. But this is hilarious as this thing's going. 33-30.
Tuberville obviously didn't get a majority, and that's why it's at a runoff. But, I mean, Tuberville beat him in terms of percentage-wise.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then Trump went after Sessions again yesterday,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah. So this is good.
God, let's take a moment. Speaking of people that do understand how to game the system, do you really think Tuberville I'm running for the Republican nomination
in
to
Alabama.
be a senator, and
Which
Trump
means you're
is
running
going
for
out
the office because the election itself is a formality.
Right. And Trump is attacking my number one opponent. I think I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to cozy up with Trump.
Yeah, yesterday, here it is. Trump says, let's see.
Forget the X's and O's. It's about feelings.
Yeah, this is what happens to someone who loyally gets appointed Attorney General of the United States, then doesn't have the wisdom or the courage to stare down and end the phony Russia witch hunt, Trump wrote on Twitter, sharing a link to Politico's story about the runoff Sessions will face. Recuses himself on first day in office, and the Mueller scam begins. Trump yesterday toward Sessions.
President sounds somewhat angry.
He's had a few tweets the last few days that, God, it's one of those ones where I laugh out loud, and then I realize, oh my God, this is the president of the United States. It is hilarious. But at the same time, it's like, this is our representative to the world.
Doug Jones, the current senator of Alabama that's going to lose his spot in November.
Yes.
I mean, this is the weakest possible incumbent to try to hold on to a seat that I can imagine.
Cindy Hot-Smith says hello.
I mean, are you guaranteeing she's losing?
Surely.
Are they going to run her again?
They can't run her.
Okay,
right?
this is okay. For instance, I want to
she's
discuss
at least
this.
a Republican. The Democrat in Alabama is losing this.
I understand that. I just it's
right.
It's hard for me.
Hyde Smith gets the nomination, she's going to win. It's the same thing we talked about the governor's race. I told y'all, I'll believe it when I see it when the Democrat beats the Republican.
I know. I mean, Jones got in office because he beat Roy Moore in the middle of all that stuff.
And it wasn't. It was still close.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah. Remember when Roy Moore was whipping out the Old Testament and
50% to 48.3%.
I may be mixing up my analogy that he used, but I think he's Abraham. No, I think I used Joseph. I think he used Joseph, the worldly father of Jesus. Well, he was in his mid-30s and she was 14. It's no, who told you this was a good idea?
Oh, I don't even recall that.
Yeah, it was not good. All right, here's what I want to discuss with y'all.
Yep, sure.
Biden is, he's Biden. I think the idea of Joe Biden is way better than the reality of Joe Biden as a candidate, if you will. I'm not even discussing politics. I'm just saying as a candidate running for office. I think the people that are crushing the Democrats for what they're clearly doing, I think it's somewhat disingenuous because I do at least give them credit. I think a couple weeks ago we were discussing how the party never really has the ability anymore to kind of step in and say, okay, well, this is the candidate because they're trying to get someone electable up there. And we with the way that like you can build your own brand and whatnot, like the party is not necessarily as strong as it once was. I do kind of give them credit for going, okay, if Bernie Sanders runs, we cannot win. And yes, Joe Biden is not our best candidate, but he is the best chance to beat Trump in a general election. We've got to organize and get this done. Otherwise, you wind up, you're going to have Comrade Bernie running against Trump, and good luck with that. And to me, like, this is what the Republicans didn't do, or like early enough in the process, because basically everyone knew that all the Republicans knew they were running against Hillary. And I think anyone that studies politics knows she's not a great candidate. She doesn't win elections very, very easily. And so no one was backing down. I do kind of give the Democrats credit for understanding the reality of the situation and not letting Sanders end up being your nominee, or doing your best to make sure he doesn't wind up as your nominee.
Well, no, that's what I told Neil yesterday. It's a school board business. How do we? What is our best chance to win the general election? Period. That is it.
Right.
Bottom line. I mean, that's all that matters, and that's what's happened to Bernie two elections in a row, 16 with Hillary, and then now this as well. So no doubt. Any college basketball thoughts before we let you go?
College basketball thoughts.
College baseball, college football, NFL, hockey, soccer. Take your pick.
Congrats to Bree and Tyree.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it in a little bit. I thought it was fitting last night that his team sputtered, and he had to put that team on his shoulders and carry them to a win in his last game at the Pavilion. I thought it was appropriate. He's had, as someone who's covered his entire career, the guy's had one hell of a career. I think he's right now 5th in the school history in scoring. I like Brian. He gets a knock from some people for being selfish and stuff like that. I've never really seen that. I mean, he's thoughtful. I think he's a pretty intelligent guy. I think he cares, and he plays hard. And the part where he thinks about his future and how he can best prepare himself to have a run at the next level, I don't really consider that selfish. I just consider that being smart.
I only covered his freshman year, but I feel the same way. I always thought he was, that was a good guy to cover. And then I've never felt like he's selfish. I feel like he wants to win. And I think he's looking around at his team and realizing, if I don't score, we don't win. And I don't necessarily view that as, a me first guy.
No, I mean, come on. I mean, he's one of those guys that already, and the majority of people already has a incredible legacy. It's only going to go up as he kind of moves on, and time does what time does with a lot of that stuff. No, everybody took the tired thing and ran with it a little bit that wanted to be kind of negative toward Brian. But I mean, I can't imagine this team right now without Brian Tyree.
I'd be tired too if I were Brian Tyree.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He played 39 minutes last night.
Every minute is stressful.
Yeah, that was the part that people just don't get. Is it's kind of like pitching. When you pitch in a game and your team's up 10-1, it's not, every pitch isn't high leverage. When you pitch in a game and it's 3-2 and your team's up 1 in the 8th inning and they got runners on 2nd and 3rd, when you come in from pitch 1, it is stress.
And then my college baseball thought, Chase, I do not really have one. I've watched the team kind of play. Blair's watched it, so I'll give you Blair's thoughts.
Sure.
Blair thinks they're good. Blair, for those that are new to the program, Blair's my brother, and Blair was on the team for 4 years. Blair thinks they're very good. His concern is, and he actually had a good way of explaining it. He doesn't know if they have enough pitching. He does think the 3 starters are going to be relatively like the above average
Mhm.
starters.
Sure.
You know, like even in the SEC, he thinks those are 3 quality starters. He's concerned about the bullpen, but this was an unbelievable line because sometimes the worst thing to do is give Coach B a lot of arms because he's only going to throw 10 of them. And so then you wind up getting, some like good guys get squeezed out. He goes, it actually might be better that they don't have that many arms because everyone just has a clearly defined role and you're not worried about someone getting overlooked.
It is an interesting deal because, my first thought in my gut is, the bullpen's an arm short. But I think some of it's that the guys who played well are not necessarily the guys who I was thinking would play well when the season started. So I haven't made that transition in my mind yet, if that makes sense. Because, like, Tyler Myers is hurt. Greer Holston is just struggling. There's some names that have popped where I was not expecting them. So I'm going, they're an arm short, but you look at the numbers, and I think their team bullpen ERA is under 3. It's fine. It's all right. It's all good. So
now, if you want the traditional Ole Miss view,
Mhm.
Aaliyah loves her baseball team too, and Aaliyah is convinced that this is a team that's going to go like 17-1 or whatever, whatever their non-con record is, like only lose the one game, and then she thinks they'll be 14-16 in the SEC. So there's a good rebel for you.
Last thing, 90 seconds here. John Talty just tweeting this out this morning. Scott Cochran told people outside forces intervened to stop him from getting the Ole Miss job. Others said Kiffin simply went a different direction. The experience created a rift between Cochran and Saban and led to Cochran pursuing multiple positions.
Oh, I bet I know this.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a guess.
Yeah.
I don't think outside forces is outside. I don't think it's plural.
Ain't that far outside. And it's
a force.
And it's a force.
A force.
And I completely buy it.
And I don't think it was Slick Nick.
No. I'm gonna tell you this now. I kind of wrote this on Twitter. I think. I don't know. I might have just told somebody. I've got to do a lot less tweeting as I get older because it's just not worth it.
Good for you.
Nick Saban and Scott Cochran, that relationship had run its course. Scott Cochran had, on a couple of occasions over the last few seasons, come to Alabama for more money, and Alabama had ponied up. The consensus feeling from talking to people who absolutely knew what they were talking about was that if Cochran came back to Alabama one more time and said, I want more, they were going to say, see ya. Have at it. There was a sense inside that program that it was time for a change in that department anyway, that his personality had run its course, that Saban was prepared and maybe even eager to move on. It's my opinion that Kiffin absolutely intended to hire Cochran, felt like he was probably going to get Cochran, and then something happened. It was Talty that tweeted that?
Yeah.
I would agree with Talty that there was outside forces. I just might not include the S. But John might very well know more than I know about it. He's good at what he does.
Have a good day, Jeff.
All right, guys.
Was Jeffrey Wright on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Got about 4 or 5 minutes for another break. Speaking of Lane, Neil, you want to offer up anything? If you say no, we'll move on.
I mean, we had a thing yesterday. It was not supposed to get public. You saw the email.
I did.
You weren't at the thing, but I was at the thing. You got this email about the thing.
I did.
I'm not going to get into all the other stuff. I'll do the schedule stuff because I think that's the part that was actually told to us before the thing. They're going to start spring practice March the 17th, which is a Tuesday. They'll practice on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The practices are open to the media, starting with the second Saturday, which I don't have a calendar in front of me. I think that's March the 28th, give or take a day. The first Saturday is closed to the public. Starting with the second Saturday, those practices will be open to the public inside Vaught-Hemingway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Saturday the 28th, and then 2 April Saturdays, and then the Grove Bowl, I think, is the 18th. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
I don't have a calendar in front of me. People forgive me. And then, that's not particularly noteworthy. The whole open to the media thing, people are going crazy about that. we can have this conversation a little bit. You and I've talked about this before. I typed this morning. Oh, I'm using the headset anymore. I don't need it. I'm far more interested in access to people than I am access to practice. Now, I'm 50 years old. I've been covering college football essentially as a beat writer since I was about 24.
Mm-hmm.
If you show me one practice, I've seen every practice. Unless it's an NFL practice, which is a different practice. I will be interested to see what his practices look like in the fall, because I'm told they're fast, they're to the point, they're quick. The one interesting thing was in the fall, they are, if they can get it done, they couldn't get it done for spring, obviously, because schedules had already been done.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to practice in the mornings. I think pretty early in the morning. It's his philosophy that that's just a better way to start the day. Kids go to class because they're already up, and they're off their feet more later in the day. As the week goes on, when you start to try to get fresh for Saturday, they practice Wednesday morning, and then they're kind of off their feet really until Friday when they have a short, full-speed practice. So instead of practicing Wednesday afternoon late and then having a practice Thursday night and then a walkthrough on Friday, his philosophy is practice Wednesday morning, have just a little walkthrough on Thursday morning, have a quick little practice on Friday morning, and then you're off your feet until the game on Saturday. A little fresher. That's the stuff I feel comfortable talking about from the little thing that we weren't supposed to talk about yesterday.
The morning practices could adjust podcast schedule. We'll figure that out as time goes. Might have to play around with it a little bit. Might have to alter it a couple times. We'll figure that out. Obviously, 8 a.m. may not be possible every day, so we'll let you know.
We talked about that. And here's the other thing. I mean, all those practices aren't going to be open to the media, and even if they are, I'm not going to go cover a Thursday morning walkthrough. There's nothing to cover.
Season ticket numbers up 78% year to date right now, by the way.
I think what it shows you is that he is aware of just how lethargic the program had gotten.
Mm-hmm.
He is aware of just how, I don't know if despondent is the word or just apathetic maybe the fan base had gotten, and he's going to try to get it back. I don't know what you can do to make football practices fun to watch. They're difficult to watch, and he's got a thin team. So I don't know just how I think the people who are expecting a spring of just head-knocking physicality are going to be in for a disappointment. I don't think that's prudent. I don't particularly think that's his style, and I don't think that's what you'll see.
That's fair. We will talk some basketball in 1 second. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and with the rates as low as they've been in a really long time. Good time to give Jason a call. Also, if you've refinanced or purchased even in the last year, probably can help you out a little more there as well. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group. They're dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. The firm is built on decades of wealth management experience, and they've seen it all. The financial advisors have a reputation for professional excellence, and their clients rely on their high level of confidence and integrity. Whether you need guidance on developing a financial plan, creating a customized executive benefits program for your business, or preparing a detailed asset allocation analysis, Bluff City Advisory will provide forward-thinking and cost-effective investment strategies customized to uniquely fit each client. 901-365-3447 or email Ben, that's B-E-N, at bluffcityadvisory.com. We're also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB is locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit that money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. They also have a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. To learn more about OUB, call 662-234-6668 or check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com/events to find out what's going on locally in town every single week. You got Magic in the Middle Ages going on through March 20th. Several different options this week as well, including the double-decker bus tours start back March 6th. That is tomorrow, 4 to 5 o'clock. And remember, if you do those, take your receipt and you take it over to Blue Delta, get $100 off with a pair of Blue Delta jeans by doing that as well. You can find out where to eat, where to stay, and more. Stop by their location there on the square on Jackson Avenue and get welcome bags and find out some things maybe you're not aware of. Visit oxfordms.com/events. So, basketball last night, as we said, Ole Miss 75, Missouri 67. The Rebels 15-15, 6-11 in the SEC. Missouri now 6-11 as well, 14-16. The Rebels up 9 at the break, had a 15-point lead maybe there at one point, if I have that correctly.
Something like that.
Missouri did make a run, made a pretty good run. Brian Tyree, as you alluded to, had a nice run himself to carry Ole Miss to the win. Tyree plays 39 minutes last night, scores 19 points. Blake Hinson also with 19, and then Buffin and C with 13 and 12, respectively, for the Rebels.
Yeah, like I said, I thought the story of the night was Brian, especially in the second half. I mean, he had to carry them. Blake Hinson carried him in the first half, had 19 points, didn't score in the second half, got in foul trouble because the SEC officials or whatever title you want to put on them, all they do is call fouls. Game included 56 free throws. Ole Miss shot 33. Missouri shot 23. 56 free
Well, that's less than Alabama shooting 47 last week.
Yeah, it's true. So they're improving. Total personal fouls, Ole Miss had 21. Missouri had 23, so there was more than a foul a minute. Please, for the love of God, people, when you do the thing in the deal about the NBA, watch Ole Miss Missouri, then watch Mavericks Pelicans, and tell me which product is better. One is officiated so much better. Beyond the talent, it's officiated better. The Ole Miss game really devolved in the second half because on both teams, they started calling touch fouls 40 feet from the rim. It ruined the flow of the game.
I don't understand why anyone would make an emphasis on calling that. They went to calling a lot more hand checks like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it seems to have gotten worse every year with more and more and more and more. And I don't know why. I can't figure out the positive of doing so. If you're in an official meeting, I don't know what that person would say for, hey, why we should do this.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
I don't know either. They've got to fix it. They have to fix it. It's unwatchable. The coaches themselves, before you guys think, oh, you just hate on Ole Miss, you hate on college. No, college coaches, plural, are using the exact same word. It's unwatchable. They watch it because they get paid millions to watch it, to break it down, to scout it, to analyze it. But they're more frustrated than the fans are. I mean, Blake Hinson completely taken out of the game last night. Hadim C taken out of the game last night. And Missouri had guys with 4 fouls. I mean, they've got Reed Nico had 4 fouls. Xavier Pinson had 4 fouls. Drew Smith had 4 fouls, including a couple of really questionable fouls that, quite frankly, cost Missouri a chance to come back and win that game on the road. Anyway, Brian Tyree's had a tremendous career at Ole Miss. He will be missed. I hope that Ole Miss people, and I'm sure that they will remember him fondly when he's gone, because he is a guy that got every drop out of the orange.
Got better and better, improved.
Yes.
played within multiple schemes.
Plays with effort, plays with heart, cares deeply, fearless, accountable.
Saturday can obviously adjust this in a number of directions. Missouri has Alabama. Ole Miss is at Mississippi State, but the Rebels are currently in the 11 spot, so they would play Vanderbilt should the SEC tournament start today in a 11-14 game to get into the next round.
Yeah, Ole Miss has to have help.
They would play the 6 if they won, I think.
Yeah, Ole Miss would play the 12-13 game. Is that what you just said?
No, Ole Miss would play 11-14, but if they won, they would play the 6.
Oh. No, Vanderbilt, I'm sorry, Missouri has the tiebreaker over Ole Miss right now. Is that right?
They do? On ESPN, Ole Miss is listed ahead of Missouri. That's all I'm going on.
I think the way it works, since Ole Miss and Missouri split the season series, they go to how they did against the SEC opposition starting at the 1. Missouri has a win over Auburn.
Okay. Gotcha. Good enough.
I could be wrong, but I think I'm right.
It's the difference in playing Vanderbilt or Georgia and playing the 5 or the 6 on day 2.
Yes.
That is what it's doing.
As of this moment, it's my understanding Ole Miss would be the, quote, home team against Georgia in the 12-13 game, and if they won, they would play
They would play Mississippi State or South Carolina if it ended today. Yeah. State and South Carolina are tied for the 5th spot at 10-7 in the league.
Gotcha. If Ole Miss beats Mississippi State on Saturday and Missouri loses to Alabama, Ole Miss would get the
11. Because Ole Miss can't win a tiebreaker against Arkansas?
No, Arkansas, by beating LSU yesterday, Arkansas is playing on Thursday.
Okay, gotcha. Alabama now for sure playing on Thursday because Ole Miss won.
Yeah. Arkansas
because Missouri could have called Alabama, I think.
Yeah.
Had Arkansas done some other stuff too, whatever.
Even if Arkansas goes and loses at A&M, they have 7 SEC wins, and they have the tiebreak over Ole Miss by virtue of winning.
Sure. Sounds good.
Ole Miss will definitely play on Wednesday.
You think they have a shot Saturday, though?
Oh, I think they have a real shot. A real shot. It's a favorable matchup. They're playing pretty well right now. State just lost an absolute crushing game. Will be tight as a drum. Yeah. You can go in and play loose. You got nothing to lose. Hell, there's a chance you could win and still not move up if Missouri beats Alabama, which they probably will.
That's in Como?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, just go play. It's the one night. I mean, you tell Blake Henson, take your crazy shots. They might fall. If you get beat, you get beat. I mean, there's nothing to lose. Zero. Nothing. State's got everything to lose.
A bit of a weird night and literally a weird week in the SEC this week. Florida does win. They beat Georgia 68-54 in Athens last night. Now 11-6 in the SEC. They're going to go to the tournament.
Yeah.
Arkansas 99, LSU 90 last night in Fayetteville.
Arkansas had a 20-something point lead at one point. In the first half, I think Arkansas scored 55 points.
They outscored them by 21 in the first half.
Yeah, they were absolutely. It was your typical senior night. They were unconscious out of the gate. They could have kicked it in blindfolded.
Then the shocker of the night, and I mean Buzz Williams, good grief, what he's done with this group. Even though this is really the only signature win per se of the ones they have won, 78-75 A&M at Auburn last night.
Yeah.
A&M now 15-14, 9-8 in the SEC. Auburn 11-6, 24-6.
It's two things. One, Buzz is tremendous as a coach. Always has been. Has a shelf life wherever he goes, but is very, very good. And two, the shine is coming off of Auburn quickly. All that good fortune, it always evens out, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I know I'm being repetitive here. I don't know any SEC team that I'm buying stock into in the tournament.
No.
They're all so weird. I just can't even, if you go, hey, you have to guarantee an SEC team is making the Sweet 16. I don't know.
The only one you could go with is you could go with Kentucky because they do have
just
good
going to out-athlete the crap
out of
you.
Well, they have good guard play.
Yeah.
And Richards is a presence in the post, and Sestina can make some buckets here and there. I mean, they're fine. I mean, the people that say Kentucky's bad, they're not bad. They're just not Kentucky. Fine. I don't think Auburn can make the Sweet 16. I don't think LSU can make the Sweet 16. Florida, because of the way they play, if they get the right draw, could maybe make the Sweet 16. Because Blackshear can take over a game in the post. If you play a team that's not particularly talented in the post, you can do some after that. I'm not sure anybody else makes it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like Mississippi State's this enigmatic team because Reggie Perry for 10 to 12 minutes a night will look like the best player in the SEC. And for the other 30 minutes a night, he looks like he hates where he is, and he hates his teammates, and he hates his coaching staff, and his body language gets pouty, and he thinks he looks like a guy that says, I am about to go be a late lottery pick, and I'm going to go get my money.
We'll see. Saturday. What time? What's that start time?
5:30.
5:30 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to tell you real quick about Specialty Orthopedic Group. If you're injured but not sure where to go, no matter where you are, Specialty Orthopedic has you covered with 3 convenient locations in Tupelo, Oxford, and New Albany. No referral is needed to schedule an appointment. And with one of SOG's fellowship training subspecialized surgeons at any one of the 3 locations, with 24-hour scheduling, SOG makes it easy to accommodate you. Call 767-4200 or request an appointment on their website at www.sogms.com. Specialty Orthopedic Group. Choose a specialist. Choose SOG. Also, for a little bit of an Ask an Ortho segment, it is baseball season for youth. We're going to talk to Dr. Reeves more for a second about Tommy John and about ways to care for your baseball player from a pitching standpoint, what to do, what not to do as that time gets here. So we're going to do that now. Go to Dr. Moore and talk a little bit about pitching, baseball, and Tommy John. If you're in our live stream, just hold on one second.
Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Whatever trip you're thinking of, Florida, the Caribbean, Ireland, whatever, Napa, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. I put up a mailbag on yesterday. It's brought to you by the Westin Jackson, which is home to Soul Spa, also home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. If you're doing business in Jackson, you owe it to yourself to make the Westin Jackson your headquarters. It's a Marriott property in downtown Jackson, and if you're just looking for a place to get away for a weekend, it'd be a great place to make your home base as well. Everything you could want, Pelotons at the gym, the whole deal there at the Westin Jackson in downtown Jackson. We put up a Mind on My Money podcast yesterday afternoon. It is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, P-I-N-N trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. And we're brought to you by Nest and Wild. Sleep better with a Nest and Wild mattress. Nest and Wild is a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, gives you comfort and support that will last. A lot of the online brands sell an 8-inch or a 10-inch mattress, but not Nest and Wild. From the The California King to the twin size. Every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, 100% American made. Pricing is fantastic, and we're going to make it even better with the podcast discount. It's a no-risk decision. Nest and Wild believes in their product so much that they are offering a 99-night trial on every mattress. Try it out. Sleep on it for 99 nights, and if you don't like it, return it. NestandWild.com. Use the promo code REBEL20 at checkout. Get 20% off your purchase, and it's going to arrive at your door in 3 to 5 days.
Podcast is brought to you by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. You know, G&M is right there on South Lamar and Oxford. Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs. 662-236-2222 is the phone number. Still can time to get that flu shot. $0 copay on most insurance plans. Don't have to wait in line or anything. Get you out as quickly and painlessly as possible. They also deliver locally in the Oxford area. So give them a call, 662-236-2222. ESPN with a pretty big story on about how St. Louis actually buying into the Battlehawks with the XFL from a football standpoint. Tamu profiled a little bit in that today. So
Jordan might be playing his way into an opportunity in an NFL camp. Do a lot worse as a backup or third quarterback in an NFL team than Jordan Tamu. Smart guy, great guy, has some talent, athletic.
don't have to worry about it.
Not going to interrupt your clubhouse, locker room.
You do okay there.
Has upside.
Oh, he was better than he probably got credit for, considering the team he was on overall and, frankly, Longo's system. Jordan Tamu would have been fine in any system.
Dan Werner deserves a lot of credit there.
Yeah.
Went out and looked at him and said, we could play him.
Yeah.
And Jordan deserves a lot of credit because he came to a place where Shea Patterson was the established starter.
Mm-hmm. Had other options. Could have gone to other schools.
Yeah, could have gone to Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at football.
What is it? What's their new slogan?
Oh, my God. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I can't even remember it.
It's off growing, right?
Yeah.
It's
lowercase G.
Because we're still going to row.
We're still going to row, but we're going to grow as we row.
Yeah, bamboo.
And the other one is he's building a house, and this is the year they put the windows in because people are looking in now.
I think he recycled all this from his previous position, too. So it's just.
I wonder how many wristbands they wear. 20?
You think they're a wristband school?
Oh, there's no doubt.
You think that's a wristband program?
They've got wristbands just up to the elbow.
Yeah, grow.
But with a lowercase g.
Grow higher. Sorry, grow higher.
Higher.
Yeah, lowercase g, big R, big O, big W, lowercase higher. Grow higher.
And also this is the year that they're putting windows in the house.
Yeah, that is correct. We're talking bamboo, which I've used in the past. When you talk about bamboo, it takes 3 years to build underground before it actually shoots up to the top. So you're talking about year 4. That's when you should see it shoot 90, 100 feet in the air. We have the ability to do whatever we want to be able to do, whatever we're going to pay the price for. So we're talking about grow higher and using the bamboo tree, and you'll be able to see bamboo trees everywhere. So we're going to have like actual tangible bamboo around the Minnesota campus, the football program? Or is this figurative bamboo?
It wouldn't grow in that climate,
would it? You could bring it in, though.
But it wouldn't survive in that
buy
climate.
Bamboo in a pot.
Well, I get that, Chase, but it's awfully cold, right? Bamboo doesn't survive in that climate. So
you don't think you could keep it alive, even?
Well, I would have questions.
I mean, I'm not a plant guy.
I mean, I guess you could put it inside a solarium or something and protect it. But
maybe we're building one of those. Yeah, it says why the windows, because now the framework's up, so we're installing these windows. And the wonderful thing about windows is you can look out and see whatever you want to see. You can notice the birds, the sun, the clouds, the sky. But you can see whatever you decide to see. However, different from last year, which when we didn't have any windows, we were picked 6 in the west. That won't happen this year. So now we have windows that the outside world wants to peek in and see and study and know that we're what we're doing inside the house. We know when the frame went up, you could still see in the house, right? Because you build the holes for the windows in the frame, so you still could see in the house, PJ.
How would you install windows into a bamboo house in Minnesota? That just feels like
I don't think the house is bamboo. We're doing two different things here.
Okay.
We're building a house and we're doing bamboo.
So the house isn't going to be built into the 90-foot bamboo because then the windows could be so high that no one could look in anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless they have a drone.
Really good football coach. Awful with some of this stuff. Good football coach. drive me insane though.
I mean, I'm trying to like. Can you imagine Nick Saban talking stuff like this?
All right.
We're gonna build some bamboo. All right. And that bamboo's got to grow. All right.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. Just losing my mind a little bit today.
Tired?
I'm okay. I didn't sleep very well last night.
I've gotten where I don't sleep well hardly ever.
Well, I'll be a Bourbon South out today, and I mean I'm completely sober when I leave, but I'm telling you, I'm getting older, and if I have more than one drink, I can't sleep. I'm going to go to sleep fine, and I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to get kind of hot and restless, and I can't
so what
sleep.
do you do? When you get up, what do you do in the middle of the night?
No, I'll sit there and try. I try to avoid grabbing my phone because I know the blue light's not good for for going back to sleep.
Then you're up.
And
Might as well go have a coffee.
I'll use some meditation apps. Not ashamed of them.
No,
use those.
of course not.
Try to put me back out.
Yeah.
I've got a couple that I like. I'll try stuff, but I'm sleeping okay other than the alcohol. That's why, frankly, I don't drink much at all. More than one drink, any more than one drink, and I'm can't sleep. It's weird, but it's true.
I wake up at about 3:30 every morning, and it's a coin toss whether I'm back to sleep or I'm up.
3:30.
3:30, almost like clockwork.
Are you dead by like 4 p.m.?
I've gotten where I'm having to throw the coffee in middle of the afternoon, and then I kind of get a second wind. I'm all good. I wake up and I start thinking.
Yeah, we've had reading from the stream. We've had a couple Bourbon Souths the last few weeks, been on a weekly schedule. This week, took an idea from Marv Merchant on the message board where we had a budget every day of the week and how we would purchase the bottles for doing that. It was $20 on Monday, $40 on Tuesday, $75 on Wednesday, $100 on Thursday, and $200 on Friday.
Oh.
And how you would go through that. We had a little round table for that, with everybody having their choices and their decisions when they came in. So we did that, and then we tried 3 or 4 bottles.
What were the first two? I'm curious.
On the 20-year,
Not to spoil it, but
no, you're fine. On the 20, I found where you could get Old Granddad 100 bottled in bond for $19.99.
Okay.
Some people just said Evan Williams Black Label.
Yeah.
Even if nothing else, you get your bourbon that you could put some that mixed with cocktails.
Sure.
Had one buddy when I was asking him yesterday for some ideas that said, I didn't think about this outside the box. Just buy a pint of Makers. Buy a pint for your first day. Get you through day one, and you move on from there. But yeah, I mean it's a tough category. You can find really good stuff 25 to 40, but that's
so
under 20.
What did you pick there?
For 40, you went with McKenna 10.
Yeah.
You can because we kind of said, okay, look, it's got to be the MSRP.
It's hard to find.
That's the thing. It's got to be MSRP, but let's act like you can find it on the shelf. Let's not play the game of, well, I can't get that, so that's not applicable. Some people just said 4 rows of single barrel, stuff that we typically talk about. So yeah, that's
a no risk purchase.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah. So we did that. Our bourbons we just tried last night. We had a 4 Roses barrel proof, barrel strength last night.
How was it?
Really good. Yeah, it was good. We had a Rhetoric 24 last night. That was one of our roundtable members' $200 bourbon, so they actually brought a bottle for us to try. The bottle we got from High Cotton yesterday was Old Granddad 114, which is found at $25-$30. Very, very gettable. And listen to the show if you're interested in this and all, because I've never had a bourbon change profiles more neat to putting a cube in it, trying it 1v1 last night. The most difference I've ever had in one, going from 1 to the 1.
In what way?
Listen to the show.
Okay.
I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, so that's on this week's Bourbon South. That's what we talked about. And we'll probably do a Fireaway Friday tomorrow. I assume Ole Miss and Princeton start at 6:30 tomorrow night for baseball. 6:30, 1:30, noon are the times this weekend for that. And we'll have more coverage at rebelgrove.com. Almost done with my baseball mailbag. It'll go up here in a little bit today as well. A lot of questions and good questions in that this week. So you guys take care, and we'll be back tomorrow.